not to go into too much about bigging up City Realtor, but actually to begin with, how long have you been a landlord?
Sure, it's just over 7 years now. Time has flown by. 7 years.
Wow.
It's been a landlord. It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
To say the least. Yeah, it's a journey that I would recommend to people, but just be prepared. There is going to be
Why
ups
has
and
it
downs.
been a journey? What is it? That's
First of all, just getting onto the market is difficult, and then it's all around. I said managing it on a regular basis is difficult. I said, people always assume, you make lots of profit and that's all that comes along with it. But there is stress that comes along with it as well. I think, people just need to be wary getting into the property game. Yes, there's a lot of rewards that come with it, but especially if you're not managing it by yourself, especially if you are managing it by yourself, it can be a bit more difficult. Hence the reason why I personally pay for convenience, and I have City Realtor look after my property.
fair enough. What kind of problems have you faced?
I've had loads. I said, you try and make sure. Well, me as a person, as a landlord, I try and make sure my tenants are comfortable. But when you have tenants just ruining your property by, example, this was a couple of years ago where the tenant was dotting cigarettes out on my curtains. It gets frustrating because that one person sort of ruins the experience for me, because then it's like you can label everybody in that property, depending obviously how you're renting your property, it can ruin the sort of.
That was a HMO, isn't it? So
it's a HMO. So you
kind of
you see how other people react to it as well, and you think if this person can do it and then nothing is being said, they can do it as well. And that, as a landlord, you think you start putting people under one umbrella, which shouldn't be the case.
So, I mean, you said something about, obviously, you'd rather pay for the convenience, right? You want a hands-off approach, I'm guessing. This is what, I think a lot of people, obviously, our jobs as property managers and, running a company, we try and explain to people why it's better to get somebody to manage. Obviously, if you've got the energy to do it yourself, it's fantastic. You do it yourself. But at what cost are you doing it? At what cost are you doing it yourself? You see what I mean? Because if it, I was asking one guy who's a builder, and he told me how much he makes doing his day job. I said, then why are you spending all your time managing your properties? You see what I mean? Because you're losing out on this much money doing your day job because you have to spend all that energy into managing your properties. And once that made sense to him, obviously he came on board. But a lot of people don't think of it like that. They try and save the pennies.
Yeah, definitely.
Where really, isn't it better to have an expert, managing that side, and you get the I don't want to say tutelage, but it's more the mentorship and everything, or just someone just looking after all your stuff, right?
It's the guidance more than anything for me, anyway.
Yeah.
I keep up with the property market. I know what's going on. I know what I have to be wary of as a landlord. But the guidance that comes from having an agent look after it from a maintenance perspective, it's a huge difference. It's a massive difference, because for me to sit down and read all these legislations and all these changes, etc., becomes it's time consuming. And then when it comes to the general management of stuff as well, it's time, isn't it? Time is one of the things that we can never get back. So if I'm sitting there managing my property, people calling me up at 11 p.m. at night, it's not ideal. So hence the reason why it's better for me anyway. You paying for the expertise and the convenience.
Management's an interesting one, because a lot of people sometimes people are like, okay, so are you going to pay for that? They ask us, no, of course not. You have to pay for it. Oh, but what am I paying management for? You're paying management for us to manage it. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't understand there's one thing actually Jay was saying last week was some people don't know how to interact with their tenants properly. They're too bullish. Do you see what I mean? In fact, I was on a Facebook group the other day where somebody asked, I can't remember what the question was, but one guy said, it's not their home, it's yours because you're the landlord. I'm like, no, it's not your home, it's your property, but it's the tenant's home. See, that kind of attitude, if you're bringing that into that energy into, when you're interacting with a tenant, you're starting off on the wrong foot already. Do you see what I mean? Because it is their home. They're paying to live there. Do you see what I mean? And some people don't. A lot of landlords don't quite get that. Do you see what I mean? And they bring in the wrong energy. They don't know how to interact with tenants, and the whole relationship falls apart because of it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, like I said, everybody's different. You know, personally, I'm quite soft, so I've tried to interact with past tenants and stuff like that, and I'm quite soft. Or they want something, here you are. Just have
That's
it.
the two end
Yeah,
of the
I'm
spectrum.
on the
You
other
also
end.
shouldn't be that as
Exactly,
well.
and I learned from that, and obviously I listened to your advice. You know, somehow for some odd reason, tenant took my number, and all of a sudden I was receiving calls at stupid o'clock to help with this or this and that, etc., etc. And that was because I took a total 180 approach where I became soft, and I was just like, you know,
If you need anything,
just get in contact with me, and that was a big lesson for
One
me.
thing we say to them was like, sometimes you might want to go to the property to pick something up and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's fine, but don't give your number to the tenant.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
what's the point? Why are you paying us? For?
Exactly,
You see what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you know, we have a 24-hour line specifically for this. You shouldn't have to, you know, take calls from a tenant when you're paying for management service. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you learned the hard way. That's all right.
100% learned the hard way.
I mean, I think we kind of spoke about it now, but like, what was your experience of City Realtor as a managing agent?
You know what? I've had a very positive experience. For me, I said I can rest easy knowing the fact that City Realtor are going to look after the property for me. I'll get an email here and there saying this needs sorting out, this needs sorting out, and it's very clear and concise.
Yeah.
It's straight to the point. There's no sort of fluffiness around it. It's we you know, the tenant might have messed something up, you know, or washing machine's broken or boiler's broken. Straight to the point, and City Realtor are really sort of on the ball as well. It's easily contactable, straight to sort of the property management team, etc. And I said they get stuff done really quickly. You have a lot of contractors on board, and you can get people on site relatively quickly, which makes it better for me, and obviously better for experience for my tenants as well. Because that's important. I think it's not just about the experience that you're giving to me; you're giving the same experience to the tenants as well at the same time. So that helps both of us. It's a reciprocal situation.
That was a very nice answer. I'll give you your money later on.
Had to rehearse that one.
We've also done some refurbs for you. I don't know if it was one or two, but
no, it's one you done for me. One I done myself, and I think you and Adam had a couple of comments around it, which was fine. But the most latest one, City Realtor done everything for me. I said.
And how was that experience?
It was again great experience. Up to, you know, I was up to date every day. What's happening? The progress that's being made. Photos being sent to me saying this is being updated. This is changed. This is the material that we're using. This is the timeline that we have. So overall, City Realtor sort of took me on a journey in that whole project where I knew what was happening from day one. Which was amazing.
To be clear, it was a full renovation.
Full renovation.
Not mistaken, it was a full kitchen refurb, bathroom. Floors were changed for the whole property, paint, decoration, everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the way this is how we'd like to do it is whenever we start a refurb, we put the landlord and our PM team into a group, WhatsApp group, just for easier communication. And I think you updated, okay, do you like this? Like, we'll give you a choice of the choice materials, right? This tile, this thing. And I think, I think you told me before, you quite liked the fact that you updated and you could make a choice on some of these things because ultimately it is your property. You shouldn't be able to make some of the choices. And then I guess the PM team when I say PM means property management, but you could think of it as project management. Right?
It was project management. It's project management. Yeah. That's it. It said the team, we got put into a WhatsApp group and a timeline was provided. And as a landlord, I want my property to be looking half decent at the very least.
Yeah.
So when they were sending me pictures of do you want this kind of material, etc., that's a nice touch. Because sometimes it can just be like, you know, the cheapest materials or whatever it may be, put it in there.
And I think that makes a difference when you have that little bit of attention to detail. Okay, actually put a black sink on or tap on. You see what I mean? It makes it look different now. Like, you know, whereas if you just leave it to a builder, let's just say, they'll make everything look very beige and like, you know, it has no character usually, you know. But
that's where Adam came in. He was very good with that. He was recommending, instead of this, why don't you take this? You know, it might cost you a little bit more, but it adds character to the property itself. So you know, Adam, who was leading the project in that sense from City Realtor perspective, again on the ball, keeping everything running. That was the main thing, and kept to the timeline, because that's important as well from a landlord perspective. Timeline is key. You want to get the property ready for the next set of tenants.
Because the longer the job is taking,
Yeah.
the refurb, that the longer you're not being paid rent
Exactly.
by tenants, right?
Exactly.
So and that means also your bill with the builder might be getting bigger as well in that time. Yeah, I mean, Adam would be very happy to hear that. So yeah, if you need something project managed, reach out to Adam.